welcome to season 2 of the Meaningful Work podcast. Can't you tell I'm excited? I really am excited to have the privilege for another year to hold the space for you to find meaning and fulfillment in the work you do. Get it? That's what meaningful is. And really, my goal in this podcast is that you get in alignment with God's big plan for your life, your assignment. See, that you realize that your profession is your pulpit. I really hope you understand that everyone's not meant to stand inside of a church and preach on Sunday morning, but we all were created to and called to bring the kingdom here on earth. And that is exactly what I mean by meaningful work. Look, I'm already going in. Sorry, y'all. I started going in. So let me go back to my season 2 intro. So listen, last year in season 1, we focused on every area of your life. Now, I called this your will of life, if you remember, and I deep dived into insights to help you cultivate a life alongside your career that gives you fulfillment and meaning. Now, as a pre-launch gift to this season, season 2, I created the ebook called The Blueprint to Meaningful Work. See, I created it to help you do the work or refresh on the work you did in season 1 as you defined what meaningful means for you in your career and your life. And can I tell you that work is important? Why? See, because as I sat in quiet contemplation to get God's direction for season 2, the word that came to me to focus on for this season is ambition. Now, according to the Webster Dictionary, ambition means a strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. See, when I think about ambition, it's to go after a version of you that is bigger than who you already are, what you've already done. So let me put it to you like this. I was reading Philippians 3:13 through 14, and it said this: I do not count myself to have apprehended, but one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead, I press toward the goal for the prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus. Now, y'all know I looked this up in my Tony Evans Bible commentary. And here is the breakdown of these Bible verses that, by the way, Paul, the author, wrote this Bible verse, this series. See, he is not satisfied with where he is. He wants to keep growing. He has a holy discontent that keeps him pressing on. To become excellent and fulfill your kingdom purpose, you too must have a clear direction. So, what aspects of yesterday must you forget? See, the way to get over yesterday is to have a forward focus to press on. That's why Paul pursues as his goal the prize promised by God's heavenly call in Christ Jesus. Notice, he's looking into the future, not the past. Deep, right? So look at it like this. You can't drive a car going forward looking through the rearview mirror. Why? Because you'll crash, right? See, what I believe Paul is saying in these Bible verses is he's looking into the future, not the past. See, if you've been with me anytime, you've heard me say that your bio, your resume is done, is complete. My question for you is, what's next? What's the next role, position, job, certificate? What's next for you? Yes, I'm asking you, what is your ambition? Again, let me repeat this definition. Ambition means a strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. So what has been rumbling inside of you to do or to be that you have not dared to move forward in? You know, the thing you humbly deny, because how could you dare want that when you're already successful? How could you even dare want more? See, I want to play a clip here from a podcast interview with Reverend Jamal Bryant that talks about this very thing.
So you have to have context. I was living, Brandy, in the largest condo in Baltimore, overlooking the Inner Harbor. Almost 10,000 square feet on one floor, and left it.
Yeah.
The last 2 years in Baltimore, I was depressed. And very few people understand what it means to be depressed and successful. So people,
What does that look like?
Yeah, people see you from the outside and assume, oh, you doing this, you got all these people, you on TBN, you on the Word Network, you on Daystar, but I felt unfulfilled.
I played that clip because I definitely do not want that for you. So whether you're depressed, frustrated, or bored in life or in your career, I'm holding the space for you to go after the fulfillment your heart desires. Listen, I read a statement in a devotional a few years ago, and I think it is appropriate for me to share here, right? That I hope will help you understand where we're going this year. Now listen, allergies are acting up. Nowhere in the Bible is ambition condemned. Selfish ambition is certainly warned against, but ambition for the sake of God's glory is not only condoned, but is commended. See, God never intended for us to settle, to live in a good enough life or have a good enough job, have a mediocre life. And I expanded actually on this whole conversation in the intro to season 1 of this podcast, as I talked to you about God's intention when he created you. So your gifts and talents are not a coincidence. And as I said a few minutes ago, I also talked about how we each play a part in creating the kingdom here on earth. So if you missed that episode, or maybe need a little review, a refresher, grab the ebook I created for you called The Blueprint to Meaningful Work. See the link below in our show notes. And I want to encourage you to do the work in that book, because you will need it. You will need the insight, the strategy, the conversations in season 1, which I'll walk you through in the ebook, so you can get clear on the areas in your own blueprint to meaningful work where you are weak, where you will need to be clear so that the work you do that will help you get strong in your weak area. Some of y'all are saying, I'm not listening to this to do any work. But can I tell you, can I keep it real? If I felt like that every morning when I went into the gym, see, the work my trainer outlines for me to do, 9 times out of 10, I don't feel like doing. But I have to say to myself, if I want to lose these 10 pounds, then I got to do something different, because everything else I'm doing is not working. See, that's where change happens, when you do the work. And, doing the work is being ambitious, y'all. So think of it like this. Ambition is a required asset for anyone wanting to step out and do something extraordinary, right? Listen, I'm allergic to average. So I didn't say ordinary, I said extraordinary. And again, God never intended for you and me to settle. And if that's the case, then why should you? See, the key ingredient to anything you would do that is extraordinary is ambition. It requires some ambition for Noah to build the ark. It requires some ambition for Joseph, and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat to save his family and the region from famine. It requires some ambition for Mary to say yes and give birth to Jesus. It even required some ambition for Ruth to choose to stay with Naomi and even say yes to work for Boaz to feed the both of them. By the way, if you've not seen the Netflix movie Ruth and Boaz, go see it. It was so good. Loved it, right? Now, those of you that say, Nicole, that's all great, but those are all Bible stories. I hear you. So how about I give you a few modern day stories? See, it required some ambition for Tyler Perry to not give up in the face of failure and even go on to build Tyler Perry Studios. It required some ambition for Oprah, despite being fired from her first on-air TV job, to go on and not only host the Oprah Winfrey Show, but to now own the OWN network. It required some ambition for the new senator to put in his bid to run for president. Hello, Barack Obama. It even required some ambition for 2 little black girls from Compton, California to go after winning in was it Grand Slam of tennis. Hello, Venus and Serena Williams. Are you getting my point? Because all of them put the extra with the ordinary. So today, I'm giving you permission to let go of who you already are and go after the version of you that you have not yet become. It's not a bad thing to want more. It's not. It's okay for you to want to achieve as much as you can in this thing called life. After all, I believe God put that gift in you to serve all those that need that gift. So when you stand in the full power of who you were born to be, you make God proud. See, I sincerely doubt that God is going to look at you at the end of your life and say, you did too much for me. Too much, girl, too much. But I do sincerely believe that God is going to look at many people and say, you were too falsely humble for your own good and for the good of countless people you could have impacted if you've had a little more ambition, right? And so you get to choose. Will you settle Or will you go after all that God created you to be? See, don't let anyone ever tell you that ambition or wanting more is arrogant. Matter of fact, what I know is ambition is what God uses to do greater things in this world. You heard the examples I just shared with you. So I want you to think about it. One of the most important questions that many of us ask ourselves is, what do I want out of life? But to get to your more, you have to up-level that question and ask yourself, am I willing to move past my comfort zone to go and get it? See, because if you're going to go after ambition with me this year, to move beyond where you are is going to require that you do 3 things I'm telling you up front. Grab your pen, right? Number 1, you've got to do it afraid. Now, y'all know I love quotes. So here's a quote here. Your life expands in proportion to your courage. See, what I realize is that my own life truly has expanded and still expands anytime I'm scared to do something and I do it anyway. Matter of fact, anytime you're doing something you've never done before, it's going to be scary. So do you stand still and let fear stop you? Or do you do it afraid? Notice I didn't say be fearless. Now, I remember being on a mastermind call years ago, and Ayana Van Zant was teaching that call, and she said, and I quote, if you don't feel like you need to pee on yourself sometimes, you ain't playing big enough. So how many of you oftentimes feel like you have to go to the bathroom before a big speech, or maybe before a big presentation, or maybe you feel like you need to go to the bathroom before you have to make a critical business decision, or maybe you feel nervous around shifting your career? I want you to understand, when you feel like you need to pee on yourself, as Ayana would say, that's only happening because what you're doing or getting ready to do is requiring you to step into something greater than where you already are. And I want you to remember, we don't settle, right? See, in my own journey, I think to myself, who knew that moving forward, even with knees knocking, teeth chattering, would bring forth such great rewards? So with this in mind, in what ways might you amplify your life and or your career if you just look fear boldly in the face and dare to do that thing you know you must do, should do, and you move forward with fear? Matter of fact, your faith doesn't get activated until you're in the face of fear. So if this is something you're struggling with, then stay tuned. One of our upcoming episodes, I will dive deep into moving through fear. So with all of that said, with doing it afraid, let me move to number 2, because I can keep going on and on and on. Number 2, you've got to be willing to go to the edge. See, when you're free enough to move forward with fear and go out to the edge of your comfort zone, when you give yourself the freedom to step into your greatness, your boldness, your authenticity, your transparency, your true self, even at the risk of being uncomfortable, to do something that you've never done before or never thought you could do, to be something you've never thought you would be, what happens is you become someone that you've always known yourself to be. So often we want to stay comfortable doing the same things you've always done because it's easy. But it's when we do the hard thing, the difficult, the not so easy, where we find the biggest blessing. See, I know in my own life, one of my biggest acts of courage for me, if I use myself for an example, is last year. And that big act of courage was saying yes to become the director of career services at UDC. See, I told y'all the story of me transitioning in season 1. The nugget I got from that career transition, now trust me, there have been plenty of areas of stretch in my life. The nugget I got from just that is that at some point you have to realize and know that you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable if you truly want to see growth in your life. So with all of that said, in what ways, or I should say, in what areas are you staying where you are because it's easy, because it's comfortable? I want you to sit with that and really answer that for yourself. And if you really want to deep dive in it, pull out a journal and write this question down and ponder this question over the next week. I promise you'll be surprised at what comes forward as you sit with what would happen on the other side of that comfort zone. Yes, this is a call to dare to go out into the unknown and be uncomfortable. And yes, you must let go of old so that we can dare to hold on to something new. Which leads us to number 3. What you think number 3 is, y'all? I can't hear you. What do you think number 3 is? Is get in action. See, when you're willing to go to the edge and do it despite being afraid, it's only because you're also willing to do all that it takes to get there. Now, another quote here, because y'all know I love some quotes. Quote by Joan Baez says, action is the antidote to despair. And so if you want to move forward in your life, you have to take action. You can't just read and think about powerful new ideas and think they will happen, just like I can't think about losing these 10 pounds and it just happens. No. You have to apply what you have learned. You've got to do something today that you didn't do yesterday. And that makes me, again, think of my gym example. Whew. Obviously, I keep talking about the gym, y'all. I think I talked about the gym last season, too. So that's a hard one for me. But this, I'm determined to conquer it this year, right? So with all of that said, I'm branding 2026 as a year of ambition, the year that you go after the next level of yourself. So to start, you must get clear on your outcome. You've got to get clear on what's your focus for this year. So is it number 1, to get a promotion? Is it number 2, to make a career transition, start your own business, or maybe it's to shift industries altogether? Is it number 3, leadership growth and impact? Do you want to become a better leader or to work better with your team, right? Or is it number 4, personal well-being or work-life integration? See, in all of our episodes this season, we will focus on one of the 4 pillars. And don't worry, the next 4 episodes, I'm going to deep dive into each of these pillars to help you set your action plans for this year. Now, I know some of you are saying, but Nicole, we are well into the year. Well, do you know that research confirms that roughly 80% of people abandon their New Year's resolution somewhere between February and March? So look at this as your opportunity to level set your goals for the year and to push yourself where you only make comfortable goals. Because there were probably some goals that you didn't write because how dare you even imagine that for yourself? Those goals. So let me give you some tools to help you lead with ambition that not only drives your career forward, but also creates a meaningful impact both in your life and the lives of all those you touch. So that as we embark on this new season, instead of New Year's resolution, I want you to set goals and I want you to challenge yourself to take the goals you set and create them into a vision board. And I'll link a vision board exercise in our show notes. Those of you that have never done one and you're interested in doing one, I'll give you exercise in our show notes. So listen, I'm having you do all of this because just as it says in the Bible, in Proverbs 29:18, it says, where there is no vision, the people perish. But vision is more than goals. It's direction with meaning. Y'all heard me? I'm talking about direction with meaning. That's why our conversations from last season have led us to this moment in this season. So to start, I want to make sure you have a vision for 2026, that you know what you want to go after and it's attached to your why, that you're not setting goals because it's what people expect of you or it's on that list of things you wanted to become that you wrote out in your 20s or the things that people expect of you, but that is in alignment with who God created you to be and it resonates with your soul. To make sure you're aligned with your purpose, let me explain to you why vision is important as you set vision and or recalibrate your goals for this year. So, vision, it encompasses your overarching purpose and your long-term aspirations. While goals are specific measurable actions to achieve your broader vision. Okay? So a compelling vision offers meaning beyond just hitting the target. It connects you and maybe even your team to a sense of purpose and emotional investment in your work. See, the psychological impact of working toward a meaningful vision is that it increases motivation, job satisfaction, and overall well-being. A strong vision acts as a stabilizing force during times of uncertainty and adversity. See, it helps you maintain your focus, providing clarity on how to make decisions or to move forward. which is why in turbulent times like we're in right now, having a vision and staying clear to your core is so important. See, a clearly communicated vision fosters engagement and alignment. When you share your vision with your team, your spouse, your family, individuals will understand the bigger picture, which means they're more likely to work with you collaboratively to go and get it. So vision should not be static. It can evolve as circumstances change or as you grow. So if you already have a vision or vision board, or you already wrote out your goals, how you keep them in motion is to revisit and refine your vision regularly. You're going to hear me say this over and over. While your vision may evolve, you should always retain your core. So I know some of y'all are like, Nicole, that all sounds great. I'm really confused because a vision may evolve, but I have to maintain my core. Okay, so let me give you an example using my own career as an example, right? So I started my undergraduate degrees TV and film. I worked in casting and production for 10 years. Back in 1993, I started working with teenage girls in my church. That one program at that one church soon became 13 chapters in churches all over the country. What I did with my girls in Imani was work with them around purpose and how to craft a career that aligns with who they are. But when I really think about what it was, guess what I was doing, y'all? Casting and production. Then I started my own training and development company, helping executive women and a few good men start businesses alongside their 9-to-5s and going into corporations to do some leadership development and career development. And listen, what I was really doing as I did all that was still casting and production. So even as a director of career services now at UDC, God has heightened all of that learning from working with my teenage girls and the work I've done with executives over the last 30 years. And now I feel like I've advanced from casting and production to being the producer, to lead a team of coaches and career counselors instead of being the coach, to produce programs that help our students understand their purpose, their strengths, and giftedness, and how to craft a career that aligns with who they are. See, I want you to understand that as my core hasn't shifted. I share all that with you because of the core hasn't shifted, right? So again, my core is that I'm great at casting and production. I've been doing that for years. By the way, I still get a phone call at least once a year. Somebody asks me to cast something because I'm good at seeing talent. When I started working with teenage girls, I could see their talent and how it would align with a career. When I started working in corporations, same thing. And now I'm using that same gift in the place I'm in now, but now I'm producing programs around it. Do you guys understand that? So my vision has not changed. What I've seen God do in the last 30 years is grow me, to matriculate me through my journey, right? So let's talk about matriculation for a minute. If you've been around me for a while, you've heard me use this for an example. You know, we matriculate through the education system, right? We go kindergarten through elementary, we go through junior high and on and on and on, right? Y'all with me on that? But I can't go from first grade to seventh grade. I can't go from seventh grade to get my master's degree. There's a process that you go through to grow you. But I believe that the same thing happens in our careers, that as we allow our ambition to grow us up, that rumbling inside you to be or to do more means that there's another level of you to come forward, meaning that it's time to grow to the next level, meaning that kindergarten is over and it's time to go to first grade, meaning that eighth grade is over, it's time to go to high school. Am I making my point? Mm-hmm. So what I realized is God was matriculating me through my own journey to use my purpose in bigger ways, to use my gift in bigger ways. The same thing I believe he does with each and every one of us. So this is why all this vision talk is so important. Mm-hmm. So let me give you the meat of the 3 steps that you need to create your vision that will allow you to lead with ambition for this year. Now, I believe ambition is a great purpose multiplier. It sharpens performance, it sparks innovation, it accelerates careers by pushing you to set bold goals, to persevere through setbacks and act decisively. See, ambitious leaders energize teams and lift productivity. So to lead with ambition, you've got to do 3 things. Y'all ready? You've got a pen? You ready? Ready? Write it down. Number 1, align your ambition with your values. Mm-hmm. So this means taking the time to reflect on what truly matters to you, not your mama, your cousin, your sister, your boss, your mentor. No, you. Ambition without purpose can lead to burnt out and discontent. So to start this process, you've got to be clear on what are your personal and professional values. See, if you're not clear, then let me give you some tools. Let me encourage you to go and watch season 1, the episode called How Values Lead to Fulfillment with Monica Cost. By the way, I'll link it down in the show notes. See, in it, Monica reveals her proven method to discover your core values. I think that this episode is so great and we have such a great conversation. So again, go watch it. It's linked in the show notes, okay? So when your ambition is aligned with your values, you'll not only achieve your goals, but you'll also cultivate a deeper sense of fulfillment. It's about more than just checking off achievements. It's about nurturing a journey that resonates with who you are at your core. See, by grounding your goals and your values, you cultivate a deeper connection to your purpose, ensuring that each step you take contributes to a more meaningful and satisfying life. So, to help you harness the alignment between your ambition and your values, I'm going to give you some insights, a little bit more insight before I give you step 2 here, right? So listen, you've again got to identify your core values. So take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you. I want you to consider aspects of your life that bring you joy, fulfillment, and motivation, and write down your top 5 to 7 core values and think about how they influence your decisions, how they influence your aspirations, okay? This clarity will serve as a foundation for aligning your goals with these values. Again, if you need support, y'all know I'm already giving you support by giving you a link in the show notes so that you can go and watch that episode. Don't be lazy. Y'all told me I told you you've got to get in action. So if I want to lose these 10 pounds, I've got to do the work. And so do you. So to create a vision that allows you to lead with ambition, to do, as I said earlier, create direction with meaning, it acts as a unifying focal point, turning daily, often monotonous work into thrilling, high-stakes mission, fulfilling work. So the next step you got to do after you align your ambition with your core values is step 2, create an action plan that reflects your values, setting benchmarks that resonate with your vision. So I want you to consider both short-term and long-term goals, ensuring that each goal reflects your values. For instance, if one of your core values is community, then I want you to think about career goals that allow you to either engage or give back to your community. Maybe volunteering or creating social impact projects, or maybe community for you might be working more with teams. So again, I want you to be clear on what does that look like? How do your values show up, right? So let's look at it from your focus for the year. Again, is your focus to get a promotion, to make a career transition, start your own business, shift industries altogether, maybe write a book? Is it leadership growth and impact, right? And we all should always be working on growth and impact, I'm just saying. So that number 3 should be for everybody. Number 4 should be 2, personal well-being and work-life integration, unless you have that on lock. So I want you to set goals in these areas. And dare I say to you, don't set nice, neat, easy goals. They need to be big, hairy, audacious goals. So by the way, I didn't write that. That term was coined, big, hairy, audacious goals, which is called BHAG, by Jim Collins and Jerry Barras in their book called Built to Last. Okay. So BHAG is what they call it. BHAG. So BHAG is a clear, compelling, and long-term goal that seems nearly impossible, yet drives a group of people and, dare I say, purpose forward. Okay, so here's some examples of some famous big, hairy, audacious goals, BHAGs, right? So NASA in the 1960s, this was their goal: land a man on the moon and return him safely to Earth. Microsoft, a computer on every desk and in every home. And Microsoft is definitely on my computer, on my desk, and on my iPhone. Google, to organize the world's information. Even dare I say, Dr. Martin Luther King set an audacious goal to end racism and discrimination through nonviolent protests, culminating in the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Harriet Tubman, great example of audaciousness, right? See, she was audacious enough to risk her life acting as a conductor on the Underground Railroad, guiding enslaved people to freedom. Then there's Madam C.J. Walker, who was ambitious enough to not just help Black women get our hair together, but she became the first female self-made millionaire in America. And then there's Kamala Harris, whose ambition led her to becoming the first Black, first South Asian American, and first woman vice president of the United States. So here's my point. No matter what it is that you do, you are part in providing an answer to a group of people who need you. I don't know what I would do without my iPhone or Google. And I don't know where I would be if it weren't for Harriet Tubman, who made it possible for Dr. Martin Luther King to do what he did, which has allowed me to do so many things, go to school, I can go on. And even what he did made it possible for somebody like Kamala Harris to do what she did. What you may not realize is that your BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal, is a light on somebody's path to either solve a problem for them or show them what's possible. Now, in the course of activating and moving through your action plan, your big, hairy, audacious goals, the last thing you've got to do, step 3, is reflect and adjust regularly. See, personal and professional growth is an ongoing process. So schedule regular check-ins with yourself, perhaps monthly or quarterly, to assess your progress. So I want you to ask yourself if your current path still aligns with your values and your goals. And if you do feel out of sync, then don't hesitate to recalibrate, as your GPS does, to make adjustments to your goals or explore new opportunities that better reflect your evolving values and ambitions. You heard my story about my whole career, right? So by following these steps, you'll be better equipped to create a fulfilling journey where your ambitions and values work hand in hand. So listen, as we begin to wrap this episode, I want to encourage you to embrace this exciting journey of 2026, the year of ambition. And by aligning your ambition with your values, fostering authentic relationships, embracing continuous learning, you can lead not just with ambition, but with purpose. But you must also realize it will take you doing it afraid, being willing to go to the edge and to get in action to accomplish all that you desire. I want to invite you to join me this season for more inspiring conversations and insight from remarkable leaders who are making waves in their fields, who understand their profession is their pulpit, and who are making bold moves, doing it afraid. So, as I end this episode, as I say in every episode, I'm going to ask you to do three things. Number one, I want you to subscribe. Subscribe so you get notified when our new episodes are live. Number two, share your thoughts. Whether you share them here in YouTube in the comments, whether you go on social media and you post on one of my posts, I want to hear your takeaways and aha moments. And then last but not least, I always ask you to share. I ask you to share this podcast, because the more people this conversation gets in front of, the more you help me with my BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal of expanding my reach beyond anything I can ask or think, to help as many people as I possibly can do the work God crafted and created them to do. And as you do that, you're helping me do the work God crafted and created me to do. And by sharing the link to this episode on social media, you help me do that. You really do. So listen. It's my honor and my privilege to be here with you. I'm excited about this year of ambition. I look forward to pouring more into you. I look forward to hearing your BHAGs, your action plan, your goals. I look forward to all the conversations and insight to come. So with that said, y'all, I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.